Hello and welcome back, Speak Your Truth family. This is your girl Yana Positive with another episode of Speak Your Truth, the Untold. Okay, so last week we went into deep diving, but this week we're going to look at an issue, at a topic that we as a society often ignore. Now, I'm going to leave that for the presents. And yes, we have a very special guest who is going to present this topic to us. She's going to tell us what she's going to talk about. But this person is very dear and near to my heart. She's one of my closest friends. Her name is Nemonia. She is a final year student at the Northern Caribbean University, doing a bachelor's in social work. Her passion is guiding and helping others to find and be the better version of themselves. Her favorite quote is, "It's not enough to have a good mind. The main thing is how you use it." Power in the saints, girl. Power in the saints. So, without further ado, I will now turn over to Nemonia.
Hey guys, welcome back to Speak Your Truth. I am so happy to be here, and my name is Nemonia. I will be facilitating a discussion on disabilities in Jamaica, but to be more specific, the stigma associated with disabilities in Jamaica. I will also be looking at the types of disabilities and ways in which we can improve our knowledge and link these persons to resources. Now, jumping into our discussion, I will briefly discuss the definition of disabilities. When we think of disabilities, majority of the time we think of persons who are unable to do day-to-day tasks effectively, and they may sometimes need our help to complete these tasks. However, the definition that I found here states it is a condition of the body and mind that makes it more difficult for the person with the condition to do certain tasks or activities and interact with the world around them. So, in simple terms, this definition is saying a disability is a physical or mental problem that makes it difficult or impossible for a person to walk, see, talk, learn, and do other important things. Now, some of these disabilities are permanent and some are temporary. The more permanent disabilities are not reversible, and these example of a permanent disability would be cerebral palsy. Now, a temporary disability would be a broken arm or a broken leg. And we know that after a broken leg is healed or an arm, we can return to daily task activities normally. Now, it says here, a person can be born with a disability, or it can be a result of an accident or an illness. Now, I'm going into the types of disability, and I want you to type in the comments and list some types of disabilities that you are aware of. Now, disabilities are categorized into two headings, and you have physical disabilities and you have mental disabilities. And the definition for physical disability is a condition that affects a person's mobility, physical capacity, stamina, and this may include brain or spinal cord injuries, cerebral palsy, hearing and visual impairments, and many others. Now, for mental disability, it is a problem with the brain or mind, and that may include developmental disabilities, mental illnesses, and learning disabilities such as dyslexia and others. Now, I went ahead and I did some research, and I found that data from the population and housing census done in 2001 indicated that there are 162 persons with disabilities in Jamaica. And of this number, children comprised of 21%. And these are children between the age of 0 to 14 years. In addition to that statistical data, I found information from the World Health Organization that states it estimates that at least 15% of each society's population comprise of persons with disabilities. And that doesn't mean it's just Jamaica alone, it's each population. But yet, data found here in Jamaica in 2014 indicated a disability prevalence rate of 33%. Now, if we look back on the first statistical data that I gave, it stated that in 2001 there was 21%, and by 2014 we see where it has increased to 33%. And to put a specific number to that 33%, it would be around 200,000 Jamaicans living with disabilities, and these persons are often stigmatized. Now, in Jamaica, research has shown that prevailing issues surrounding the knowledge, attitudes, and behavior towards persons with disability is that of, and it reveals that majority of the time they are ignorance, prejudice, stereotypes, and discrimination from persons in the Jamaican society. Now, there are high levels, high levels by the general public that stigmatize against persons with disabilities, and because of this stigmatization, a lot of these persons are unable to become employed, and they normally lack the resources such as education, because they're stigmatized against, and people has the perception that these people cannot do anything productive in life, and this is so wrong and unfortunate. Persons with disabilities are often excluded from the society and are often labeled as outcasts and segregated, and this is really sad. And the way that we will reduce the stigma is through education and spreading our knowledge around. Now, it says here one of the factors that contribute to stigma in Jamaica is our culture, and it says culturally embedded concept of disabilities affects the ways in which individuals with disabilities are seen, and because of this culture, persons with disabilities see themselves as how other person would see themselves, like they would see them as not good enough for society, and this is based on the concept that we have here in Jamaica culturally. They also affect the ways which when I say they, I mean stigma affect the ways in which people around them, such as families and their communities and society, interact with them. So oftentimes we see probably someone who's blind on the road walking, and we'll just see somebody not even help them to cross the road, they just pass them like, oh, I can't deal with this now. And this is so wrong. We need to do better as a country with persons with disabilities. Now I'm moving into some stereotypes that emerge in our Jamaican society about persons with disabilities. And it says people with disability cannot lead a productive and fulfilling life. And that is not true. Persons with disabilities are capable of participating fully and be effective members of society. We should focus on their abilities and not their limitations. I've seen and I've heard and I've read about persons with disabilities who are doing extremely well. The other day, the Gleaner highlighted a lady from Maypen who had no arms, and she was doing a sewing business. Can you imagine that? So these persons should not be viewed as having limitations, but they should be viewed as persons who can contribute to the development of our society. And another stereotype is that people with disabilities are helpless and dependent. This stereotype tends to mean that they are pitied as they spend their life depending on others for help. This is very false. And in fact, these persons are very resourceful and independent. A lot of times we see persons with disabilities doing working, selling, doing operating their own businesses, and this is how it should be. We should not look at them as pitiful and helpless persons in society, because they do contribute to the development of our country. Now, I'm going into ways in which you can support persons with disabilities. I want you guys to go ahead and type in the chat some ways that you can support persons with disability. And I have 3 points here. I have ask first if you can be of any assistance. Don't just assume that he or she needs help, because oftentimes when we see these persons with disabilities, we think, oh my, we need to help them. But don't just get up and help them. Ask them, do you need my help? May I assist you? And things like that. The second point I have here is be patient and listen actively. Now, persons with disabilities are, especially those with intellectual disabilities, you have to take your time with them and actively listen to them. And this is something that we should implement in our society. The third point I have is learn the proper terminologies to use. And this is very important. We hear people in society would say, what's your handicap? No, that is so wrong. Use proper terminologies. This is very, very constant in our society, and we need to change that. Now I'm going into resources found in Jamaica that can help these persons. And some of these resources include the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. And they provide a variety of services to protect the rights of these persons and promote independence. So at this agency, they link persons to resources and also accommodate for them to start their own businesses. The second resource that I have is the Jamaica Association of Intellectual Disabilities, and this agency focuses on educational services, clinical and technical services, along with others. I also have the third resource, which is the Micro Child Assessment and Research in Education, and they facilitate psychological and educational assessment, speech and occupational therapy, and other resources for these persons. And this is very good that we as a population have these resources for these persons to use so that they can become effective members of society. This was pretty much my quick discussion with you about disabilities, and you can stay down in the chat or in the comment section, I should say, what you've learned from my discussion here, and you can also share what you think or other ways that we can improve our society to add to these persons with disabilities. All right, bye for now, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you to Nemonia. Big up and bless up. I love that topic because we so often, as a people, as a society, persons, individuals, we've overlooked the disabled in our society, and we've negated the fact that there's a stigma placed on persons with disabilities. And so with this presentation, I hope some of that stigma has lifted. I hope you do some inward introspection and look at yourself as a person and say, hey, Do I stigmatize a person with disability? Do I make fun of them? Do I make them feel uncomfortable in any way? Because truth and in fact, they are human beings. They are made and designed by God for a purpose, just as you were. So if it is that you have made somebody with a disability uncomfortable, go there, make amends, try to be a better person, because hey, we live every day, and once there's life, there's hope of becoming the best version of yourself. And so we thank Nemonia for bringing that issue to light. And we'll now close. I'll catch you all next week for somebody special. Once again, we have every week, Thursday, here at 8, something very special in store for you, because here at Speak Your Truth, we seek to create an IREE space. Inspirational, relatable, empowering, and elevating. Catch you later.